Welcome back to Sports Dump, Lewis County's only sports podcast. We're sponsored by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery, Global Septic, and AmeriCool Heating and Cooling. I'm Aaron Van Tile, joined by the Chronicle Sports crew, Dylan Wilhelm, Zach Martin, and Kody Kristen. The calendar has flipped to December, which means state football championship games are around the corner, and basketball season is getting underway. And as a reminder of all that... You guys know what that was?
No.
It was the BC Ferry.
Yeah. It took me a couple seconds.
Do you want to discuss, Dylan?
Oh yeah, just a brain dead moment. I just put in maps. For context, I was
please.
All right,
we need
so
context.
The goal was to get from Centralia to Anacortes for the to Oak Harbor for the WF West Anacortes States football semifinal.
As one does as sports editor of the Chronicle.
As when you throw in maps and you say, all right, go. There must have been some traffic on 5. I just hit go on the fastest route, which took me up 101. And as many people know who have been up 101, which I clearly have not, once you get past a certain point,
there's no more 101.
There's just a ferry. It's just ferries up there that have to take you across. And
boats with cars, new concept to Dylan.
Boats and cars. Yeah, so I could have gotten on a ferry that would have got us there at halftime, which is still better than the alternative. But we were 5 minutes late for it. So we had to do a Yui and just pray that we would make it by the end while we were listening. And then we got to Seattle, and given how the game was going, we can get into that. I just busted Yui and said, all right, it was a good effort.
A learning experience.
Yeah, so we spent 5 hours on the road to end up in Tacoma. So,
all right, great work.
Fun stuff. I'm expecting jabs throughout the next several months.
Okay, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way, and now everybody knows why Dylan and Ridley did not make it to the state semifinals.
Now Dylan knows what the little dots on the road mean in maps when they go over the water.
Every time you're driving along I-5 and can look out at the Puget Sound now, you're going to be thinking,
what an idiot.
All right, we'll start with our 3 state football semifinalists. And we'll begin in Richland, where Zach and Kody watched Napavine top Asotin 23-8. And before we get into the details...
We did have a photographer and a reporter actually cover a semifinal.
I know, imagine that. What a concept.
They didn't run out of road. They did not run out of road.
No, lots of road.
Plenty of
going
road.
to Richland.
So, Kody, I need your immediate take on this. Asotin.
Immediate.
Frauds?
I think they're not as fraudulent as I thought they were. They're
okay.
Especially, I got to give them a lot of credit because I think we counted like 16 or 17 kids on their whole team. Like, their sideline had not that many kids on it, and I was really surprised with how good they were and how quality of a football team they were, given how low their numbers were.
And for context, Napavine's usually high 30s, 40s?
Yeah, like huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 40s. And most 1B teams, you'll see like 20, 25 kids out there. And they had like 16 or 17. And I was really impressed by Soton, actually. I didn't give them enough credit before. I wasn't familiar with their game. I think they're fraudulent just because they were a 2 seed. I don't think they're frauds on the count like I thought they were. Like I thought they were just going to be kind of trash. But no, they were pretty solid. I don't think they were a 2 seed, but
all right, glad
they
to
were
hear
a good
it.
team. Yeah.
All right, so the Tigers played a bit of a sloppy first half, 12 penalties. They were still up 8-0 at the break, thanks to a pick 6 from Carson Denault. Cullen Shields scored a pair of touchdowns, one on the ground and one through the air to extend that lead. Grady Wilson accounted for 256 total yards. Shields had 134, and Denault had 116. This will be the 4th straight trip to the state championship game for the Tigers. Zach, you were there. What did you think?
It's just a bad first half for Napavine, and I don't know. And I was talking with a couple people at this. Like, I don't know if it's because they committed a lot of penalties or if because like they are usually blowing teams out that they're probably committing penalties all game long, but they're not being called. Like I bet it's a good combo of both.
And these were state semifinal refs as compared to our average good old boys over here in
Lewis County.
CTBL.
Who let the boys play?
Yeah, they let the boys play ball.
Yeah. And the Napavine fans were not happy, and I think it was more because they had probably never seen them be called for that many penalties. I think Asotin was called for 3 or 4 all game, I think.
A Napavine coach told me at halftime they had 120 yards in penalties in the first half.
Yeah, 12 for 125 yards is what I had. But
not ideal.
For them to still have that lead, like Denault's pick six really changed everything in that game. And I don't think that's hyperbole, because if you go into that game scoreless, like Asotin believes they still have a shot, you play that bad and you have a lead, and then Shields has his 2 touchdowns in the third. Like that was game, set, match. And they came up with a key 4th down stop. Caleb Von Presenton and Jack Nelson stopped Kody Ells short of the line to gain on 4th down after Asotin scored, after they recovered an onside kick, and that pretty much ended the game. So to play not their best and still win by 15, like, I think that's a good sign heading into the state title game, because now, okay, the bad game's out of the way. Now they can kind of just go and maybe play free. We'll see on Saturday what happens, but
I'd say I think Napavine was really honestly in trouble until that pick six. Like, up into that, they were just kind of, because they're just so used to blowing teams out. They were like flat, just like, they weren't even losing. They just weren't dominating like they're used to. And they just seemed kind of flat, and like they didn't know what was going on. And once that pick six, though, they started rolling, and they never really looked back.
Yeah, they only committed 3 penalties in the second half, so they cleaned a lot of things up, and they cleaned a lot of things up in the third and fourth quarter.
All right, so we had 2 2A semifinals to get to, but thanks to Dylan for getting the round earth theory, only one of them was covered. We'll start in
a lot
Tumwater.
of water out there.
Start in Tumwater, where Josh Kirschenbaum watched the T-Birds smoke Archbishop Murphy 42-0 to return to Husky Stadium. They started slow, but after Murphy missed the field goal, Cash Short got the T-Birds on the board with a 14-yard rushing touchdown. They never looked back. This will be the 3rd time Tumwater has gone to back-to-back state title games, including 89 and 90, where the T-Birds won both, and 2012 and 2013, where they lost both. So, Dylan and Kody, how much different does this year's Tumwater team feel than last year's team?
I'm trying to think of if I've watched Tumwater this season.
You did.
I have,
Week 8.
I don't feel like they're a lot different than Tumwater. I think just more. It just feels like they play more confidently than Tumwater last year, I guess. Just like they know they're exactly. It's pretty like, well, it's always been kind of the same at Tumwater, but for me, I feel like they know their whole season they've been working up to this point to play this game, and they know like what went wrong last year. And they know exactly what they're up against this time. Whereas it was like because Anacortes is a new program, I felt like it was kind of like going in there with no knowledge last year. I feel like this year they're going to be a lot more prepared for anything, and obviously a lot more motivated. Dylan, what did they have up at their practice when you went to today?
They had a banner with the score 60-30 up, which obviously is last year's score of the title game. And they had that up all summer too. They had T-shirts, they had, the works, and that's what sticks out to me about this team. Not that Tumwater hasn't lost in the state title game before. They've been to a lot of them, and they've won and lost several. But just the way they've handled the types of teams that maybe not necessarily would have given them trouble last year, because they were still a juggernaut last year. But last year, they barely get by North Kitsap in a semifinal.
Yeah.
Would last year's team have beaten, like Eastlake and Union and Puyallup and these other 4A teams by 50 plus? Even Eastlake was a 2-score game.
Yeah.
They didn't do that last year.
Yeah, no, not at all. And like you kind of said, I went there this morning earlier this afternoon. They kind of know what's in front of them. And Anacortes is still a tough team, so that's not just going to say they're going to walk in there and they're for sure going to get their revenge and get a state title. But
you said they've had like the score been posted everywhere all season, right? Like you don't like Tumwater football. They don't play football to have fun. Like they're not there to like win their homecoming game. Like this is all they've been working towards this all season.
Their practices are so brilliantly like designed and executed. There's no you could look
just diligence into all their practice schemes.
Pretty to watch. Nobody is standing around. Nobody is wasting any time. They know where they got it. I bet you could run that thing without coaches, and all of those players would know exactly where to be at what time with whatever songs on the speaker. But anyways, yeah. So that's the only thing that stuck out to me is how much easier they've gotten to this point this season. But obviously the final test still awaits.
Yeah, even the semifinal last year, they barely won that game, right?
Yeah, it took a missed field goal by whoever North Kitsap's kicker was. It was like a 40-yarder. Poor kid. They're throwing a high school kid out there for like a 47-yarder.
Dylan's such a fan of the high school field goal too. Broke his heart.
It didn't stand a chance. It's like 30 degrees. The ball's a rock. No shot. But
all right, so we've got Tumwater and Anacortes. They are playing Saturday?
Saturday at 3 p.m.
at Husky Stadium.
Following the Napavine game at 11
Napavine at 11?
Napavine, Okanagan.
Just like last year.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, and finally to the missed ferry trip heard all around Lewis County. WF West did make the trip to Oak Harbor, but they were defeated 35-13 by Anacortes, the defending 2A state champs. Dylan, was the game closer than the final score indicated?
I do believe so. We mentioned last week how WFS would have to play almost, if not a perfect game, to knock off the Anacortes team. Third play of the game, I think it was Brock Beaner that, if it wasn't Brock Beater, it was Brady Beaner, who 60-yard touchdown or 50-yard touchdown, whatever it was. And WFS gets the ball back. They drive down. They're on the edge of the red zone. Botch snap, Archbishop Murphy ball. Later in the half, or not Archbishop Murphy, Anacortes, excuse me. Anacortes goes down, scores again. The WFS defense actually makes a couple adjustments. It's 14-0, and on what looked like it was about to be the last drive of the half, WF West all of a sudden is in the red zone, down 14-0. You know, if you get a touchdown here, you come out of the break, you get the ball, you're down 7. Instead, they stall, just miss on a 4th and long in the end zone. One trick play, Anacortes is in the end zone again before half. It's 21-0. And that's kind of just where it got to the point where just those super small mistakes that really aren't going to cost you in a lot of these FCO games and a lot of your regular season games, just can't have it happen against a team of that caliber. And they Anacortes capitalized and just pounced on every opportunity they got. And by the time WFS got on the board, it was already 35-0 in that second half. But you just kind of have to think of what could have been without that, miscommunication on a snap early and then that turnover on downs late. That's 2 big drives that points would have changed things.
Well, and then Anacortes, they go for an onside kick to start the second half.
I don't even remember that.
And then recover and then score.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks that's how WF
football right there.
It sucks that's how
Sean
WF
Payton
West season then,
playbook.
but yeah, it was going to take a perfect game, and you can't have those type of mistakes against a team like that.
Final thoughts on the Bearcats. Was their season a success?
Resounding.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Third in state, right?
Yeah.
Tied for third.
Tie for third, yeah.
I mean, to
State
go
placing.
to
State semi.
play how you did against Tumwater and just look that bad, and then turn it around to get back to the semis.
And play well in the semis outside
play,
of a
and
couple
play
of those.
well in the semis, yeah. And
Obviously, you can't do this, but if you take away those couple of plays, this is a much closer game. And you can't do that, obviously, and that's why you lost by 22.
Heard
but
that before.
eh,
All right.
yeah, resounding success. And
I get what you're saying, though, Dylan.
yeah,
This
it's true on
podcast
both ends.
Very
brought to
successful.
you by Gobel Septic. If you arrive late to the ferry station and find you will not be able to poop on the
Get
boat,
a motorized porta potty and take it across the water.
look for a Gobel Septic portable sanitation station
They float.
providing service for Thurston, Lewis, Mason County, Cowlitz County, and Grays Harbor counties. Septic pumping inspection and riser installation, commercial septic pumping, grease trap services. They will rent you the aforementioned porta potty and a sink to go with it. Visit gobelseptic.com or call 360-736-2167.
Also, as a disclaimer, please do not rent a porta potty from Global Septic and test to see if it floats, because I promise you it will not.
I don't know.
I will
plastic.
not. I'm not
It's
telling
not
anyone
gonna-
not
as
to
long
do
as they're
that.
It's not.
It's
not
just
gonna
like
float.
Oregon Trail. I mean, you gotta
float.
caulk that porta potty and float it across the sound.
We should
Get to
develop
the
instead of
the state semifinals.
Instead of the
Make
or-
it dysentery.
instead of the Oregon Trail game, it's the porta potty game.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do grid picks a little earlier this week before we turn to basketball. And the terrible news, Kody went perfect last week, and I am...
You're not even second anymore.
I know.
You're tied for third, you fraud.
And you would be in fourth, but I fell in love with Montesano as you did, and we were both wrong on that.
I know. I missed Montesano, I missed Nacelle, and I missed Chiawana. What a fool.
Chiawana kind of sold.
How
on
could you
me.
not
Oh yeah,
trust
no,
them?
Chiawana
Chiawana sold.
completely sold that
They
game.
lost in
No.
triple overtime. They were
Ah.
up. They were up 21-7. They got a pick six before half and just collapsed.
Chihuahua
in the
was like,
second half.
we could totally win this game, but
Yeah, no,
Cody should go perfect in grid picks this week.
they're just such chill guys that they just want Aaron to, or they want Cody to take the lead.
Yeah, Dylan's such a chill guy. He just wasn't even mad that he missed the ferry.
All right, I'm gonna have to pick against my gut instinct for all these games in order to try to beat the board here.
Just, are you gonna pick all the opposites that I picked?
Yeah, I am. I gotta make a statement.
Shit.
All right, Tumwater
isn't
versus Anacortes. I gotta.
Do I have the win completely locked up, or is there a way I can still drop out of first?
There's a way you could drop out.
I'm 3 games
you're,
up.
You're
right?
3 up with
Okay,
6
yeah.
to play.
Well, you're 3 up on Ridley. You're 4 up on me.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have to go.
Ridley totally just copied me last week,
At
but
least
that's
2.
whatever.
Yeah, we should have made her do hers first all season.
Yeah.
Shit, people.
All right, so I've got to take
That's me, never
Anacortes. when
You have to
everybody
take
else
you have
is
to take
taking Tumwater.
Okanagan.
I've got to take Okanagan.
Oh, you
Everybody else
dig?
is taking
You're
Napavine.
not even supporting the
My heart,
local boys.
my heart is telling me to take Okanagan, or my head is telling me to take Okanagan, but I'm going to ride with Napavine.
I think Napavine has a better chance of winning this year's game than they did last year. I think the first half that they played on Saturday was a real wake up call that they really needed ahead of this game, and I think they're gonna go into practice like with that in mind, and that obviously that'll probably be a big point of their game plan this week. Is like this is what not to do. Like we learned what not to do week 1, and first half last week, and it's good that it happened when it did and not in the championship.
You know what I am? I'm going to take Napavine in that game. I'm going to take all the other picks opposite Kody, and we're just going to see how this plays out.
You're going to end up tied with me because you didn't pick Okanagan.
Yeah, I'm going to end up 10 games back is what's going to happen.
Also, shout out the WIA seating committee that gets a lot of flack. It's the 1v2 in every championship except the 2B, which is 1v3. So
Yeah.
rock
And
chalk
yeah,
all the way
seating
through
committee
most of
did
the
it.
way.
They
And
did a fine
Napavine should have
job.
been too.
Probably.
Yeah, looking
Over
back,
Soden,
Napavine should have been.
They beat us Soden, so.
All right. So, yeah, Tumwater, Anacortes. Everybody went Tumwater except me, who made the bold pick of Anacortes.
You're literally just doing it so you can try and win.
He's
grid
taking the
picks again.
defending champs.
Yeah, I am taking the defending champs.
Brock
you know?
and Brady Beaner, Rylan Lang. I mean, they just went scorched earth last year
Dogs.
against the same Tumwater
Dogs.
team. So
Do you think Anacortes has had 60 to 30 hanging all over their stadium for the last year? No,
I think-
you know
I
what
think
they
they
had?
have, they have a
Probably.
banner.
You know
I think they have
what
a
they had?
banner that
Yeah.
says 2023 state
Yeah,
champions.
Exactly. They're not living in the past. They're living in the now. Okanagan versus Napavine. You know what? I'm taking Napavine.
Okanagan does have nearly everybody back, if I remember correctly.
was the score
Did
in
they
that
even
game
lose
last
this
year?
year?
24 Okanagan.
And Napavine was
Napavine had a really
That
open
onside-
shot to recover an onside kick, and they
That thing
just
went-
couldn't.
that thing
get a
bounced
hand on
30
it.
yards. It was like a cartoon. No one
Yeah.
could pick it up.
There were Napavine kickoff team kids that were touching the ball like
Sprawled
25
all
yards
over the
downfield.
field,
They just
yeah.
couldn't get it. They just couldn't
And
get
there
it
was
in their
still
hands.
a minute left in that game, if I remember
Yeah.
correct. They would have had a shot.
They were
but-
weren't they down like 2 scores? Or
Oh yeah,
like
then they
3?
scored and then had the onside
Yeah,
kick
and
opportunity.
they had that crazy. Yeah, that was
just
one of the
kept
best
going.
2B games I've watched in a long
That
time.
was a fun.
But
But
excited for part 2
Carter-
on Saturday.
Kuchenbuck, is that just? I believe that's his name.
Yeah,
Uh,
who's a
Hefstetler,
big-
I think,
big
is another one
quarterback.
from Okanagan that's back.
Yeah,
They both had really good games last year.
Kuchenbuck, such a sick name. It's like
It's
Scataboo.
a silly state champion name. No, I don't care.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. That game's a coin toss.
All
It'll be-
these games
it'll
are.
be
They're
fun.
state championship games. If they're not coin
Except
tosses-
Royal.
Well, I'm
That's
taking
not a coin
Royal.
toss.
Yeah, that's pretty concrete.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna take Royal in that one.
You only have to go +4 on Kody.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I've got 1 opposite Kody, 2.
What are the Vegas odds?
4
Royal
opposite
doesn't win?
Cody. I feel like if I switch my Napavine pick to Okanagan, I could beat Kody on that one. But you know what? I'm just gonna leave it like it is. You know what?
Take
I'm fine.
take Okanagan.
You know what? I'm fine crowning Kody the Grid Picks champion early.
Well, I was regular season champ, so.
Good for Cody.
I thought you
He
guys
did
were
it.
co-regular.
Yeah, you guys were
season
co-
champs.
Oh, did we? Yeah, we tied.
Yeah,
You're right.
co-regular
So this
season
would break the
MVPs.
tie then. Oh, never mind. He wants that bad.
I know.
Yeah.
Do it. Do
No, I
it.
do not. Anyway, we've also got number 1 Camas versus number 2 Sumner. You guys all went Camas. I'm taking Sumner.
Sure, I don't know.
Bellevue.
I'm just taking paper makers because it's such a sick mascot, sick logo.
Bellevue versus O'Day in the 3As. Dylan and Kody took Bellevue. Zach and I have taken O'Day. Royal versus Seton Catholic in the 1As. Everybody's taken Royal. And Liberty Christian versus Wilbur Creston Kellogg.
Keller.
Keller.
Kellogg?
The ser-
Can't-
This guy's
I've
got
never-
Cheerios
You heard
on
me
his
talking
line.
about puppy chow downstairs.
Look, I've never been to Kellogg. I don't think so.
Has
And
anyone
I doubt
been to
any of you
Kellogg?
have either. I would imagine some of the players on that team have not been to Kellogg before. So, yeah, Zach and I took WCK. Dylan and Kody have taken Liberty Christian. So that's the final grid picks board. We'll see how it all turns out. Anything else on Napavine Okanagan you guys want to cover before we move on?
Excited.
Any bold? Oh, your Meg's just shake the thing. Try that.
Try now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a really cool. WIA finally got it right last year, and they're sticking with having the game at Husky Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It's a venue that, gives the game an important feeling, as it should. And I'm just excited to get up there.
The vibes of Husky Stadium, believe it or not, completely outmatch Harry Lang.
No, really.
What you guys know about Sparks Stadium in Puyallup? Yeah,
Harry Lang could be pretty magical, but
it's a beautiful place.
We were talking about that. I'm sure we've touched on it on the pod too. We were talking with Chad about the aesthetics of the dome, of the Tacoma Dome, and
I will always be a proponent of taking it back to the dome if possible.
When Husky Stadium's not an option, the dome, that's pretty cool. But
yeah, they can't.
When you put those two side by
something to do with the
side.
remodel, though, they can't do it in there anymore.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever they
Bunch
told
of
you.
BS.
They can clear it out for a goddamn Kiss concert. But
I was there for a concert 2 weekends ago. I was like, they could totally still fit a football field in here.
They
It's
could
a bunch
put
of BS.
a lot more people in there now. I've been in the dome in years.
They put
used to play-
26 mats down for Matt Classic.
Yeah.
They can put a.
Yeah, they could put a monster truck in there, but not a football. Come on.
Used to play all 6 games right in the Kingdom.
Yeah, they did back
Same
in the
day.
old days.
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring the kingdom back.
Kingdom.
Yeah, the entire kingdom.
Let's go. This
We talk about college football playoff now?
No. This
Oh.
podcast brought to you by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery.
Just as cool.
Does Mr. Elam have SEC bias?
I don't
think he
so.
does.
I don't believe he does. Providing all your home furnishings and mattress sleep center needs. Visit them online at elamshf.com or just Google Elam's Home Furnishings. Cody getting out of here?
Bye, Cody.
See you, Cody.
Bye, Cody.
And visit their showroom at 1530 South Gold Street in Centralia for all their latest Christmas and extended Black Friday deals. Also, basketball happening.
We're so back. I cannot believe it's already basketball season again.
How many games have actually been played?
Like
You guys been to
It's
any?
like a
Yeah.
handful. Like a
Not that
handful.
many.
Yeah, there's not a lot. It's early season, non-league stuff.
All right. Several teams have got on the court.
Maybe several. That was
few.
my
That
bad.
might be
A couple
stretch.
teams
Yeah,
have gotten out.
I'd say a few is more accurate.
That one's on me. I wrote that out.
So
few teams.
Dylan went to the WFS Girls Opener on Monday when Dylan Beck and Julia Dalen combined for 40 points in a win over Woodland. How does WFS look? Is Julia Dalen still quite tall?
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit of a slow start. I think that's just first game out. They're trying to get Riley Beebe kind of into the flow of things. Just trying to, it's mostly the same girls back, but Dalen's still solid. Woodland actually had a girl. She wasn't quite as tall as Dalen, but the size actually maxed up better than what you would normally see, especially, in the EVCO throughout most of the regular season.
Yeah.
So she gave Dalen trouble at times, but she still got hers. Dylan Beck, who was a freshman last year, is kind of leading this sophomore class that is really solid for them. Just really shifty. She was super active defensively, and she had a couple nice moves in the paint, a couple nice layups. She also took some mid-range and three-pointers, which I don't remember seeing a ton of from her last year.
It was decent in her repertoire. Like when I came aboard and saw them towards this and state. Like she was hitting some mid-range and some threes.
But yeah, so they pulled away in the second half, 25 points in the third. They didn't allow more than 10 in a single quarter. They're going to be good. They're going to be one of our better teams.
A few other standouts from early season games. Black Hills boys started off with a 71-59 win over 4A Yelm. PL boys and girls both won their home openers. Well, their openers. And the Rainier boys beat Tenino on Friday. Any quick hitters, quick takes on these?
I think Black Hills has a chance to be the best, if not one of the best boys EVCO teams. I think it's going to be them, Tumwater, and WF West.
Well, it's just half the league.
Well, I mean, right. I think those three will run in for the league title and top seed for the top seed in EVCO. I think Rainier boys beating Tenino may have been a shock as the year started. But I think looking at it now, it's probably not that big of a shock because Noah Scow is no longer at Tenino. Jack Burkhardt is still recovering from an injury he suffered during football season. So that's not as shocking, maybe as like if you would ask me at the end of last season. So I think Tenayo's still going to be fine. I think Rainier might be a little bit better than they might be a little bit better because they've got a decent amount of returners back. The Meldrum boys back at guard, so they could be a little bit better in the C2BL.
All right, this podcast brought to you by AmeriCool Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is their business. They provide full-service HVAC installation services and repair with a 100% satisfaction guarantee in everything they do. Visit west.americoolonline.com to learn more about their services or call their 24/7 emergency line at 360-948-2832 if you are either too hot or too cold.
Or late to a ferry and you are too hot or too cold.
Hot under the collar when you realize you've missed the ferry. Or too cold when you've driven into the Puget Sound.
Trying to get across.
Because you thought there would be a road.
Did you think that swimming ever an option?
No.
Okay, good.
We'll wrap up with a quick note of what's to come. Got a basketball preview coming out in Saturday's paper. We'll have a couple of features and league-by-league outlooks. And you can pick that up on newsstands Saturday or perhaps in your mailbox if you're a loyal print subscriber. It will all be posted online Saturday.
It will be.
Good. You're not going to forget.
No, I will set a reminder right now.
Jesus Christ.
Just to be safe.
State championship recaps will also be online Saturday afternoon, including instant recaps before a full story within a couple hours after both games. What's the staffing going to look like for Saturday at Husky Stadium?
All four of us will be there.
All hands on
Kody
deck.
and Ridley will be taking pictures for both games. And then Zach and I will be there. We're splitting the two down the middle.
Who gets which one?
I got Napavine. He's got Tumwater.
Okay. All right.
Figured Dylan has seen Tumwater a lot this year. I've seen Napavine a lot. So
Yeah. And I did Tumwater's game last year, so
yeah.
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
No,
Seeing
I'm
none,
excited.
No.
have fun at the state finals on Saturday.
No ferry required.
Shout out.